All right, guys, so this right here is incredible. Tucker Carlson's so-called anti-war grift just hit a brick wall and absolutely shit the bed. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. You want to talk about speaking with a forked tongue? I mean, this is just holy shit. So take a look at this. Trump walks into, he sets up this big meeting with all the oil company executives at the White House, which, I mean, this is like literally like a Bond villain type thing or like a Batman villain type thing that we're looking at here. Like
trash,
this reminds me of
terrible,
so
terrible,
you just
odious, hateable,
carpet bombed a country that didn't attack us and kidnapped
words,
their sovereign leader,
black bagged, forcibly abducted.
And then you bring in the oil companies, be like, we're gonna steal the oil and you guys are gonna take it.
Nicolas Maduro.
This is like literally like a
he is a dictator, yes. The people who reside in Venezuela, they shouldn't live under a dictatorship. Yes. But to do what for Trump to do what he did,
we're gonna steal the oil and you guys are gonna take it. It's gonna be tremendous.
The fact that Trump went in Venezuela and did what he did is crazy, yo.
Batman villain type thing that we're looking at here. Like, that's what this reminds me of. Like, this is so just hit a brick wall and absolutely shit the bed. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. You want to talk
the
about
people who support this, the MAGA people who support this, the people who profess to be MAGA, who profess to be America first, who support this BS, they're hypocrites, bro. They're fake.
This is like shit. So take a look at this. Trump walks into, he sets up this big meeting.
In what way does this help Americans?
Which, I mean, this is like literally like a Bond villain type.
Trying to seize the oil, to take by force the oil.
Like, this is so on the nose. You just illegally and offensively carpet bombed a country that didn't attack us and kidnapped.
This is a violation. This is.
And then you
bro, you have to get authorization from Congress to do this action. You can't.
What?
Bro.
It's like when I don't know if any of you have cats out there, but we have cats. One time we woke up in the country that didn't attack us and kidnapped. Like, this is so on the nose. You just illegally and offensively carpet bombed a country that didn't attack us and kidnapped.
Flouted international law with no shame, with no penitence, with no guilt, with no remorse. It is sickening.
What? It's like when I don't know if any of you have cats out there, but we have cats.
They flouted international law with no shame, with no penitence, and with no remorse. It is sickening all the way.
Like, what the country that didn't attack us and kidnapped their sovereign leader, and then you want everybody to heap praise on you, and then you bring in the oil companies to be like, we're gonna steal the oil and you guys are gonna take it. It's gonna be tremendous. Meanwhile, they're sitting there like,
unbelievable.
What? It's like when I don't know if any of you have cats out there, but we have cats. One time we woke up in the morning and our cat walked in with a dead mouse in its mouth and put it on the floor.
That's crazy.
Like, hey guys, I got you.
That's crazy.
It's like when I don't know if any of you have cats out there. You guys are gonna take it. It's gonna be tremendous. Meanwhile, they're sitting there like, what? It's like when I don't know if any of you have cats out there, but we have cats. One time we woke up in the morning and our cat walked in with a dead mouse in its mouth and put it on the floor to be like, hey guys, I got you breakfast. And of course, Crystal was like mortified at that. Like, what the fuck? Oh my, she woke me up. Like, oh my God, Salem brought in a fucking a rat or a mouse. And I was like, it's probably one of his toys. She was like, no, it's a mouse. And I saw it, and it was. And
crazy.
That's what Trump's doing. Like, he started all this fucking trouble, wantonly violated U.S. law and international law.
Yep.
And then he goes, you guys are with me, right? And they're like, whoa, what? And the fact of the matter is,
he's bugging.
It cost billions of dollars to upgrade the infrastructure.
DJT is bugging. He is bugging.
So they don't want to spend billions of dollars upgrading the oil infrastructure. Then Venezuela's in a civil war anyway, and anybody who's there from the U.S. gets attacked and murdered. No, you need political stability. And so they kindly told him, most of them kindly told him to fuck off. I mean, some of them didn't, but a lot of them said, like the Exxon head said, it's uninvestable, right? And so it's basically like a meeting of like a war criminal who's so stupid and dense that he didn't realize that, hey, there's a way these things are done and there's a way they're not done, right?
Words.
Like, you need the soft hand of diplomacy.
Yep.
You need you need a cover story to tell about freedom and democracy and this and that. And he's too stupid to do that. And so he has this meeting with oil executives, and the oil executives are like, hey, bro,
diplomacy was possible, but they didn't want to do this. They chose not to do the diplomatic thing. They chose to do the bellicose thing. Yeah.
Told him, most of them kindly told him to fuck off. I mean, some of them didn't.
Disgraceful, bro.
Said, like the Exxon head said, it's uninvestable.
Yo, this
right?
This war-loving, war-thirsty
a meeting of like a war criminal who's so
behavior is really hateable, bro.
These things are done, and there's a way they're not done, right? Like you need this. So they kindly told him. Most of them kindly told him to fuck off. I mean, some of them didn't, but a lot of them said, like the Exxon head said, it's uninvestable, right? And so it's basically like a meeting of like a war criminal who's so stupid and dense that he didn't realize that, hey, there's a way these things are done and there's a way they're not done, right? Like you need the soft hand of diplomacy.
Yep.
You need a cover story to tell about freedom and democracy and this and that. And he's too stupid to do that. And so he has this meeting with oil executives, and the oil executives are like, hey, bro, you're a little too psychotic even for us. And we're the motherfuckers who were
scary.
With Bush
this is
in the
scary.
War in Iraq. Well, anyway, guess who's at this like comically evil meeting? Watch this. I'm gonna play this for you. Look in the background and who's clapping. Watch.
Tuck. Yo, Tuck. Bro. Yo, Tuck, the anti-war dude, the person who professes to be anti-war, Tuck. The person who professes to be anti-war, Tuck. The person who professes to be anti-war, Tuck. Yo, Tucker. Yo, what are you doing? This looks crazy, bro. He looks corny. He looks goofy. Yo, this, bro. Yo, Tucker. Yo, did you just oscillate in your anti-war stance? That is, yeah. You just oscillated in your anti-war stance. Yo, you engaged in oscillation, in flip-flopping, in wavering. Yo, this is crazy. Yo, your new name now is Mucker. M-U-C-K-E-R. Mucker. Your new name at this current moment is Mucker. Yo, you deserve this label because you deserve this label because you support violation of international law in, bro. Yeah. This is crazy, bro. You support the, bro. Yo, you endorse this, you condone this, you think this is justifiable. But you were saying what was happening in the what took place in the Middle East, what took place in Gaza and Lebanon and Yemen and other places in the Middle East was evil, wicked, immoral. But this in some way is moral. Yeah, what is the, how is this different? How is, you said this violated, you said what took place in these Middle Eastern countries was a violation of international law. In what way, like how is this different? How is illegally taking oil in Venezuela not a violation of international law? Tuck, he's bugging all the way. Yeah, this is sad. This is abominable all the way. You can't say you are pro. Meant to say you can't say you are anti-war now. You can't. Bro. This guy, he's picking and choosing. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. You have to be either all the way pro intervention or all the way anti intervention. You can't pick and choose. Nah, bro. You have to choose. You can't. It doesn't work this way, bro. You can't be against war in certain countries, but pro-war in other countries. Nah, bro. Nah. It is inconsistent. It is selectiveness. It is goofiness, bro. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. I thought Tuck was one of the solid ones when it came to this foreign conflict ish, this foreign war ish, this foreign hostility ish. Yo, I thought this dude was real, bro, when it came to this topic, but I guess he's not. Yeah, bro. He sucks for this, bro. Crazy. This is all the way crazy. Fecal.
Well, anyway, guess who's at this? Like, hey, Tucker Carlson has been. Watch.
Yeah, he's happy, yo.
So there's Tucker Carlson
Crazy.
Clapping. Now, by the way, Tucker Carlson has been virtue signaling on his show now for weeks, maybe months, about how, regime change in Venezuela would be evil and bad and wrong. And I don't even, the arguments he makes are classic, like, right-wing coded arguments. He does, like, did you know that Maduro and Venezuela are anti-abortion? Huh? Did you know they're not so fond of gay people? Huh? Like, this is his way of being like, let's not overthrow them for these reasons. It's really the dumbest argument you could ever imagine, but
crazy.
He was taking a stand saying, I'm against this regime change. Then Trump does it, and now you're at the White House fucking applauding him in a room full of fucking oil executives. Jesus fucking Christ. Anti-war my ass cheeks. Guys, that would be like if I continued to criticize Joe Biden for arming the genocide in Gaza, always supporting Israel no matter what they did.
Blind allegiance.
Go on these rants, and then you blink and you see that I'm at some White House event. There's a picture of me.
Yeah, you would be cooked and seen as a bozo, rightfully.
You were just calling this guy a genocidal war criminal. Now
you would get
snuggling up to. What is that? Now, by the way, the difference is Tucker's a bitch.
There would be rightful anger and fury and lividity.
You were just calling this guy genocidal
if Kyle did that bozo-ish.
By the way, the difference is
bozo-ish.
So when he criticizes Trump, he never does it by name. Ever. You were just calling this guy a genocidal war criminal, now you're fucking snuggling up to. What is that? Now, by the way, the difference is Tucker's a bitch, so when he criticizes Trump, he never does it by name. Ever. It's always like, I'll criticize the idea of the thing that Trump is doing.
Yeah, he has a history of doing this. Yeah.
So brilliant and so amazing.
Yeah, he doesn't go all the way.
It's always like, I'll criticize the
directly
idea of the thing that Trump is doing. But then Trump himself, oh my God, he's so right and so genius and so brilliant and so amazing.
He does the sneak this thing, the subtweet thing.
Fucker's a bitch.
But he doesn't.
So when he criticizes Trump, he never does it by name. Ever. It's always like, I'll criticize the idea of the thing that Trump is
craven,
doing. But
soft.
Trump himself, oh my God, he's so right and so genius and so brilliant and so amazing. So he's a little Weasley bitch. And that just goes to show you another difference, that we're honest across the board. Like, I'll say Biden armed and funded a genocide. He's a fucking war criminal. I have no problem saying that. Even though I think
they're both
when it comes to
him and Trump. Yes.
Manufacturing jobs.
Yes.
That's neither here nor there. He's a fucking war criminal, right? He armed and funded a genocide. But here's Tucker, Mr. Right-wing anti-war guy, and he's clapping for Trump. And
happily,
his, like, little fucking
gleefully,
war criminal meeting.
joyfully.
Now the other thing that's
joyfully
is after it was like that's neither here nor there. He's a fucking war criminal, right? He armed and funded a genocide. But here's Tucker, Mr. Right-wing anti-war guy, and he's clapping for Trump as he walks into his little fucking war criminal meeting. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is after it was the night that this event happened, Trump tweeted something very interesting. He said basically, we're gonna cap interest rates at 10%. No, the banks can't charge any more. He literally proposed a bill to cap it at 10%. Voters, however many there are. Tucker knows it. So what does Tucker do? Person in the country, right? All of the Republicans actually block it, doing it through Congress. You know how you actually make law. He literally proposed a bill to cap it at 10%. Every Republican is against it. Will you make law in the country? The reason Trump said this is because Tucker Carlson knows how bad Trump's foreign policy looks to every reasonable person in the country, right? All of the anti-war leaning right-wing voters, however many there are. He knows these people are going, why aren't you focusing on America first? Why aren't you doing anything for regular people? Why are you sending $40 billion to Argentina, $38 billion to Israel, fucking doing this shit in Venezuela, saying you're going to take Greenland? What the fuck does that have to do
Colombia,
with
Cuba,
the price of eggs,
these
with
other
the price of coffee, with
places.
The price of beef, you bitch. Tucker knows them. So what is price of eggs? With the price of coffee,
gas,
with the price of doing this shit in Venezuela,
rent.
You're gonna take Greenland. What the fuck does that have to do with the price of eggs?
The cost
with the price
of living.
Coffee, with the price of beef.
It has nothing to do with
Tucker
these
knows
things.
them. So what does Tucker do? This is him giving him advice. This is Tucker saying to Trump, "Oh, sir, what you did was amazing." I'm sure he did the normal, I'm gonna butter him up type shit at the beginning. But then he goes, "Look, we need to make sure that domestically you're also delivering. So what you need to do is cap interest rates at 10%, and then you'll give me something where I can go out there and give you credit." Now here's the problem, guys. It's all a scam. It's all a ruse. He literally just posted something on Truth Social. That doesn't have the power of law. It doesn't.
Words.
But it will give Tucker more of a propaganda. Right when idiots will go out there and give Trump credit, see, he's fighting for a limit to 10%. And it will never be brought up again. And that doesn't have the power of law. It doesn't. And then what's going to happen is they're not going to limit it to 10%. And it will never be brought up again. And a bunch of idiots, the right-wing idiots, will go out there and give Trump credit, see, he's fighting for regular people, capping interest rates at 10%. No, he's fucking not. He said something by tweet. Okay, you don't govern by tweet.
Facts.
And the banks are not going to listen, and it will never be brought up again. But it will give Tucker
by the
more
puppets.
Of a propaganda excuse to go out there and cover his ass. And that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to fucking cover his ass. So, just a total fraud. Just a total fraud. You know? You can't posture like you're actually against everything that Trump is for. But then
very few people can be trusted,
what are you doing at this meeting? I genuinely don't know. What's he doing at this meeting? Why is he in a meeting with a bunch of
the people you
toilets?
think are
I don't get it. I don't understand.
super real,
right?
They are really
fraud,
fake.
Total
it is
hack,
crazy.
Total con man. And
it is trash.
Trying to redirect. I don't understand. Right? So total fraud, total hack, total con man, and trying to redirect whatever actual anti-establishment energy there is on the right, trying to redirect it into continuing to support Trump and continuing to support Republicans. When the fact of the matter is, these are fucking demons. They're
not all, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are.
They don't give a fuck. It should be a fucking scarlet letter. Anybody who's still supporting Trump, after they only released 1% of the Epstein files in flagrant contravention of U.S. law, and those also implicated him to the high heavens. He's already been found guilty as fuck. Why are they not releasing the other 99%? If you're still supporting him after they are doing clearly the biggest cover-up in U.S. history,
wild.
Protecting the
if you still support this bozo.
Well, then I got nothing for you. You want to be tricked. You want to win the
Duped.
Self Rating Award.
Bamboozled.
Like that. You want that, right? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But this anti-war grift fucking fell apart. He's not anti-war. He's never been anti-war. He's currently backing a president that just fucking illegally did regime change in Venezuela and threatening Greenland. He's
black
also
bags.
Cuba and Colombia.
The leader.
Right? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But this anti-war grift fucking fell apart. He's not anti-war. He's never been anti-war. He's currently backing a president that just fucking illegally did regime
violated
Venezuela. He's threatening Greenland.
the international
he's
law.
Also threatening Cuba and Colombia. He's threatening Panama. He's threatening all these, like, it's over, bro. It's over. This is the biggest fucking warmonger on earth, and you're still sitting there clapping for him. So
Goofy.
Your brand's just a brand. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. Now everybody knows it. Now everybody sees through it. Everybody's waking up. They're no longer going to be right-wing. They're becoming left-wing. And all that's left is the fucking
certain people will become left, but not all who don't rock with Trump anymore. Certain people will stay on the right, but they will be wiser in the future for sure. They will make sure that their politicians are not cucked or enslaved by foreign countries or PACs or whatever. Yeah. People will be wiser. More wisdom will happen. More wisdom will happen.
Through it, everybody's waking up. They're no longer going to be right-wing. They're becoming left-wing. And all that's left is the fucking Kool-Aid drinking sociopaths on the right who want to be lied to.
The cultists, the zealots.
Still sitting there clapping for them. So your brand is just a brand. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. Now everybody knows it. Now everybody sees through it. Everybody's waking up. They're no longer going to be right-wing. They're becoming left-wing. And all that's left is the fucking Kool-Aid drinking sociopaths on the right who want to be lied to. They're in a cult. They know they're in a cult. They want to be lied to. It's all about emotional well-being, catering to their emotions over accepting facts and adjusting with reality. So go ahead. You can have the fucking the Thorazine patients who need straitjackets. Enjoy that audience. We'll be over here in reality with everybody who still has a functioning brain. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and let...
Yeah. Hold on. We will... peep the Brad Palumbo video in which he gives his candid thoughts on what Kyle Kulinski said to Michael Knowles on Piers Morgan's most recent episode on his channel, Piers Morgan Uncensored. There was a panel. There was a 4-man. The people on the panel were Michael Knowles, Kyle Kulinski, Dave Smith, and Coleman Hughes. They discussed Venezuela, Renee Goods, and Dave's beef with Dan Bongino, who was a part of the FBI not too long ago. He no longer has a position in the FBI. He's back doing his commentary, doing his show, his political commentary show. They discussed those things, but Brad is giving his response to a certain part of the video in which Kyle and Michael Knowles had a back and forth pertaining to Venezuela and the actions of Trump, the actions of the U.S., the actions, the international, the violation of the international law that took place.
Claiming President Trump is declining in the polls, and President Trump
Is there anything Trump could do, Michael Knowles, that you would say?
It's kind of styled like TV Uncensored, which is at this point this digital empire and one of the biggest YouTubers and influencers, hosted by Piers Morgan over. We've got to check in with the latest battle of the YouTubers and influencers, hosted by Piers Morgan over on his channel, Piers Morgan Uncensored, which is at this point this
British
digital
guy
empire and one of the biggest platforms for debates and conversations.
Political debates,
kind of styled
geopolitical,
like TV for YouTube,
geopolitical
so.
debates,
And he had one of these
political
debates
debates,
with different perspectives represented. But this one
political and geopolitical debates.
And his show is always chaotic, always messy, even with presented. But this one kind of went off the rails, like by Piers standards. And his show is always chaotic, always messy. Even with that in mind, this one was a bit much. So the cast of characters that you need to know here is Daily Wire host Michael Knowles, who is a far-right, ultra-nationalist conservative, and
a puppet,
more of a
MAGA puppet, a Trump sycophant.
Presentation of things. And then Kyle Kulinski, also known as Secular Talk on YouTube, who is, I guess, what you might call a dirtbag leftist.
A radical leftist.
Aggressive.
A radical leftist.
Like
a radical lefty.
A lot in his politics.
A super
debating
wokey.
Some of the Trump administration's moves on Venezuela and foreign affairs.
Knowles is too, because super wokey is not limited to
at all
one party.
Outflanking Bernie by a lot
if you engage in unfair if you discuss the other sides with unfairness, meant to say if you discuss the opposite party in an unfair way, you are woke, super woke. So the label fits them both.
Outflanking Bernie by a lot in his politics. Anyway, they were debating some of the Trump administration's moves on Venezuela and foreign affairs, and it's like that's an important debate. But it did not result in some of the Trump administration's moves on Venezuela, outflanking Bernie by a lot.
Bernie Sanders.
Politics. Anyway, they were debating some of the Trump administration's moves on Venezuela and foreign affairs, and it's like that's an important debate. But it did not result in a serious or
productive
at all, like respectable conversation.
Clean.
We're gonna watch this clip, and you'll see quickly how things devolve.
Yep.
International law goes back to antiquity. It's not some creation of modernity. Whether we're talking about the 1700s or the 20th century.
The Geneva Conventions, the Nuremberg Tribunal, the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg Tribunal.
Yes, those exist, but international laws, the jus gentium goes back to antiquity. However, unfortunately, a lot of our liberal friends think history began a few decades ago.
Yeah, this guy with the blanket statement. Yo, Michael, yeah.
However,
he bucks, bro. He bucks.
The League of Nations was useless. It fell apart, and that's why we have the UN. That's why we have the Geneva Convention.
Right, I'm talking about millennia ago, not merely.
The Nuremberg Tribunal, the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg Tribunal.
Yes, those exist, but international laws.
No party is a monolith. No party, not all people of a party think the same. So to lump them all is crazy.
That's why we have the UN. That's why we have the Geneva Convention.
Right, I'm talking.
The Nuremberg Tribunal, the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg Tribunal.
Yes, those exist, but international laws, the jus gentium goes back to antiquity. However, unfortunately, a lot of our liberal friends think history began a few decades ago.
The League of Nations was useless. It fell apart, and that's why we have the UN. That's why we have the Geneva Convention.
United Nations is what the UN stands for.
We looked at.
So.
That's why we have the UN. That's why we have the Geneva Convention.
Right, I'm talking about millennia ago,
because we looked at piles of millions of dead bodies, and we said that's a bad idea. We looked at.
So far, somewhat substantive, constructive debate. The context here.
No name calling here in this part.
The dictator Nicolas Maduro and installing the vice president as the new leader.
The puppet, Delcy Rodriguez. Yeah, DELCY, not DELSI. DELCY, Rodriguez.
Leader of the regime, which of course has sparked this controversy over if it's regime.
Yeah.
Maduro and installing the vice president as a new constructive debate. The context here is Trump's move against Venezuela, deposing the dictator Nicolas Maduro and installing the vice
putting
president
him
as the
in
leader of the regime,
New
which
York.
of course has sparked this controversy over if it's regime change, if it's interventionism, if it's unconstitutional, and all of that.
It is all of the things he just said. Regime change, interventionism, regime change, interventionism,
and all of that.
unconstitutionality,
Interventionist types are making their arguments
or
I think
unconstitutionalness.
international law is kind of irrelevant. It's just so toothless. Some progressives and anti-interventionist types are making their arguments about international law. I think international law is kind of some progressives and anti-interventionist type be over if it's regime change, if it's interventionism, if it's unconstitutional.
Yes,
and
all
of
three.
that. Some progressives and anti-interventionist types are making their arguments about international law.
Yes, you have
I
to
think
adhere
international
to
law
this.
Is kind of irrelevant. It's just so toothless. People violate it all the time for no consequence, with no real consequence.
This doesn't mean there's that violation is justified just because people do it all the time. Yeah, this isn't a justification, or nah, this is weak. What Brad is saying, this part, just because everybody else, just because people do violates all the time, that doesn't mean you should engage in the same thing or partake in the same thing just because people partake in this violation. Just because people partake in violation, this doesn't mean you should also. Just because people partake in violation, this doesn't mean you should also partake in violation. Period. Yeah. You have to be of integrity. Integrity is the most important thing. Integrity. You have to do what is right, even if you get hate for it.
Be over if it's regime change, if it's interventionism, if it's unconstitutional, and all of that. Some progressives and anti-interventionist types are making their arguments about international law. I think international law is kind of irrelevant. It's just so toothless. People violate it all the time.
Anti-interventionism doesn't make you left, Democrat, progressive, lib, conservative, right-wing, Republican. It makes you logical. This shouldn't be partisan. This should be bipartisan. This should be logical, human.
Let's keep going.
A human thing. This is a human thing, not a political thing.
But let's actually have a framework and rules and laws, and Trump is blowing that up. By the way, he bombed fishing boats.
To be anti-interventionism is to be human.
Rules and laws, and Trump is blowing that up. By the way,
it's to be in accordance with moral law.
He just did the regime change in Venezuela. He bombed Yemen and Somalia and Nigeria and rules and laws, and Trump is blowing that up. We looked at piles of millions of dead bodies and said that's a bad idea. Let's not.
Degree of substance wasn't long for this world in this panel. Let's keep going.
We looked at piles of millions of dead bodies and said that's a bad idea. Let's not do that anymore. But let's actually have a framework and rules and laws, and Trump is blowing that up. By the way, he bombed fishing boats from Venezuela.
Yep, with no evidence of wrongdoing or criminality. Yeah, one boat had 11 people. They accused those people of being narco-terrorists with no due process. Just blew them up. Yeah, it is crazy, bro.
We looked at
evil.
Dead bodies
Evil.
That's a bad idea. Let's not do that anymore. But let's actually have a framework and rules and laws, and Trump is blowing that up. By the way, he bombed fishing
bars.
From Venezuela.
What he said was a bar, blowing that up. Yeah, that was a double meaning.
And rules and laws, and Trump is blowing that up. By the way,
figuratively and literally blowing that up. Crazy.
Nigeria and Iran. He's threatening Greenland and We looked at piles of millions of dead bodies and said, that's a bad idea. Let's not do that anymore. But let's actually have a framework and rules and laws. And Trump is blowing that up. By the way, he bombed fishing boats from Venezuela, Trinidad, and Tobago, and Colombia. He just did the regime change in Venezuela.
Yep.
He bombed Yemen and Somalia and Nigeria and Iran. He's threatening Greenland and Panama and Canada and Cuba and Mexico. And you sit there the whole time and act like it's okay. Is there anything Trump could do, Michael Knowles?
Nah.
That you would say, I condemn it, and you hop off the Trump train, or are you going to tickle the taint for the rest of your life?
Yo, did he get this terminology from the chick from I've Had It, Jennifer Welsh? Does she say tickle? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Yo, she's also a radical leftist. She's a very nasty anti-MAGA person, bro. A very radical anti-MAGA person. Very radical anti-Trump Republican person. Yeah, it is crazy, bro.
I condemn it, and you
let me know if Kulinski got that from her.
No, there have been plenty
if
of
he's
Trump
paying
policies.
homage
Tickle
to Jennifer.
is taint,
Yeah,
which I'm not 100% positive, but I believe refers to the area under your genitalia.
Yeah.
And in
Your
between that and your anus.
Your gonads.
Anatomy lesson for y'all today, courtesy of Kyle Kulinski. I guess, listen, side note, why is this man wearing sunglasses inside on television? What's going on? I don't understand that. That is distracting to me. What's the look that he's going for with that? I'm confused. But regardless, I guess
I get what Brad's saying. I get it. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Inside on television. What's going on? I don't understand that. That is distracting to me. What's the look?
But
that
he
he's
has
going for
but
with
he
that?
can
I'm
wear
confused.
those shades if he wishes to.
This kind of vulgar. Understand that. That is distracting to me. What's the look that he's going for with that? I'm confused. But regardless, I guess I just think this kind of vulgarity.
But I do get what Brad Palumbo is saying. I do get what Brad Palumbo is saying.
I don't understand that. That is distracting to me. What's the look that he's going for with that? I'm confused. But regardless, I guess I just think this kind of vulgarity is
unnecessary.
Crass.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree with Brad Palumbo.
Is just unnecessarily antagonistic. And
yeah,
I
hostile.
Think it makes Michael Knowles look reasonable by
Yes,
comparison.
it's crazy.
He's somebody who with pretty extreme.
It is the opposite. It is the opposite effect of what you want to happen. Yeah. If you are a leftist debating a right-wing person in a debate, that is the opposite effect. Yeah, it is stupid. It is counterproductive. It is counterproductive to say the ish Kulinski just said. It takes away, it pollutes the discourse, the debate, the conversation. It makes you look wild. It makes you look really goofy. It really does. It really does. It makes the opponent look very laudable, very virtuous. Yeah, very, very virtuous. Whack. So you have to be logical. You have to permit logic to dictate, not emotion.
It's not effective. It doesn't make any point. It just is just unnecessarily antagonistic, and I honestly think it makes Michael Knowles look reasonable by comparison.
Even though Michael is a puppet.
Extreme political views, pretty far-right political views, in terms of not just being socially conservative, but wanting to impose it on everyone.
Control, tyrannize
theocracy,
the opposite party.
Not really believing in free speech. He believes in extensive censorship. He wrote a whole book about it. So
Crazy.
there's lots of legitimate ways to kind of
Yeah.
spar with Michael Knowles
Yes.
in the arena of ideas, but like this vulgarity,
Rhetorically,
it's worse. As you'll see, to me, it kind of seeds any sort of high ground. It makes you look undignified and unserious.
Yes.
And then in comparison, makes Michael Knowles look good and like, seem like the serious and respectable one in the conversation. Because at least in this conversation, he is. Anyway, we're going to keep watching this clip. It actually gets crazier. We haven't gotten to the most vulgar part yet. But do make sure to subscribe, hit the like button if you can, and please do consider becoming a channel member to support my content. That's the way that we're going to keep this channel growing and do more and more things, because I'm never going to pander to the partisan YouTube algorithm. If you're just Team Blue always or Team Red always, it's easy to go super viral on here and make tons of money.
You lose credibility.
Be independent and call out BS on both sides. So your support is appreciated. Become a channel member now at the link in the description, or hit the join button down below. Now let's watch the rest of this clip, because there's a reason it's going viral.
That I've criticized, because he's only right about 99.78% of the time. So the first step back,
Such a cuck.
But I would say the rest.
I agree with Kulinski. I agree with this label. It is true. It is true. But
I would say the rest of the administration has been very successful. What's your problem? What's
my problem
with
that?
Now let's watch the rest of this clip.
even though I am not a fan of Kulinski's,
that I've criticized, because he's only right about 99.78% of the time.
he's very malicious. He's very nasty when he discusses MAGA, when he discusses Republicans, when he discusses right wing people. But when he calls Michael a cuck, he's cooking with that. But is this relevant to the argument? I will say later. Hang tight.
He's only right about 99.78% of the time. So the First Step Act, I thought,
Such
was
a cuck.
step. But I would say the rest. Excuse me. I would say the rest of the administration has been very successful.
Yeah, he is funny though. Kyle is, but
you're a cuck and you're a hack and you're not an independent thinker and you're meat riding Trump and you know that what he's doing is imperialism and you don't care.
I just answered your question. I corrected.
Congratulations. Hack and you're not an independent thinker and you're meat riding Trump.
yeah, he's cooking.
He's only right about
Kulinski is cooking with this part.
So the First Step Act, I thought,
Such
was
a cuck.
step. But I would say the rest. Excuse me. I would say the rest of the administration has been very successful. What's your problem? What's
my problem is that you're a cuck and you're a hack and you're not an independent thinker and you're meat riding Trump and you know that what he's doing is imperialism and you don't care.
Michael makes he does make excuses all the time for this dude Trump. This makes him a cuck, a puppet, for sure. A toady, a lick spittle, a minion. Yeah, Kulinski's bugging when he says the R words. I won't put the jacket of the R words on Trump yet. It is possible, don't get it twisted, but to confidently say he's the R words before everything comes out, but to say confidently that he's the R words before everything comes out is crazy. Yeah, Kulinski, he be bugging, but he is right when he is right when he says Michael is a puppet, a D-writer, a nut gobbler. Yes.
Hack, and you're not an independent thinker, and you're meat riding Trump, and you know that what he's doing is imperialism, and you don't care.
I just answered your question. I corrected.
Congratulations. You rented your brain.
DJT is a pedo protector, yes. But to say he's a pedo before knowing all the way for sure is crazy. It's very biased, very partial, very woke.
I pointed out that the international law is part of the West.
Congratulations. You rented your brain to a war criminal, pedophile, rapist.
He is a war criminal, yes. Trump. He violated international law multiple times.
False point, a dumb point, which is that international law began only a few hundred years ago. I corrected you, and I pointed out classical conception of the international order, which is
debate, not really responding with any.
This bump saved my life.
To keep it was what Kyle said relevant to the argument? No, it was not. It wasn't. Even if the label is true, cuck, it takes away from the conversation. It really does take away. You look corny, you look goofy.
Kulinski, on the other side,
throwing, like when you throw labels at people in debates
and calling him a cuck over and over again. I am seeing this guy, Kyle Kulinski, secular.
When you throw labels,
YouTube handle, being praised as like dark woke.
People will see you as corny.
Him cooking by a lot of progressive influencers online, and I
crazy.
really don't get it.
The people who are simping are hurting, not helping.
Or compelling or convincing, because presumably in a debate like this, your goal is to do one of two things.
You have to stay clean in the debate,
or
even if the labels you say are true, pertaining to your opponent.
In both cases, on both prongs,
you cannot resort to name calling.
Someone a cock doesn't prove a point.
Fact.
Right? Just being vulgar doesn't debunk.
Indecorous.
Doesn't refute
impudent.
What they're saying. Doesn't make what you're saying more or less true. And then two, none of this, just insulting Michael Knowles.
Brad, he's based for this.
None of it makes him look bad. In fact, it makes him look calm and composed and reasonable.
Civil.
When in fact he has a very radical political views.
Yes.
But he looks reasonable and dignified.
In this debate.
Clip. In contrast,
because Kyle is letting his emotions dictate.
They are not actually concerned with those two objectives that I talked about, which would be my objectives if I'm debating someone and trying to advocate for what I think is right in this world. They're concerned with going viral, getting attention, and rallying up their base of the diehard 10% on the hard left, and they have that base.
Terrible, trash,
people, but it's
mucky,
not enough to
sucky.
win an election or build a coalition. But you could monetize it, and you could be a superhero to that crowd.
Superstar,
So give him attaboys and clap him on the back for this. But at what cost? To make progressives look unhinged and extreme, and give them a bad name, and
wicked.
to make Michael Knowles look more reasonable.
This causes more animus.
I don't know. I'm not a progressive.
He's part of the reason why Republicans see a lot of Republicans see all lefties as corny, goofy, disgraceful, terrible, crappy because of the behavior of people like Kyle Kulinski. Crazy.
At what cost? To make progressives look unhinged and extreme, and give them a bad name, and to make Michael
this
Knowles
only
look
causes more division, more
and
disunity, more disharmony.
I'm not a progressive. I'm an independent. But if I was, I wouldn't be thrilled with that outcome from this, even if it personally enriches Kyle Kulinski or gives him some sort of psycho.
Yeah, this bloke is not a progressive or a Democrat.
Give him a bad name, and to make Michael Knowles look
this bloke is not
and dignified
registered as independent.
I'm an independent, but if I was, I wouldn't.
He's registered as R. He's a non-conforming MAGA person who voted for Trump in 2024.
All the attention he got that he so clearly craves, but more reasonable and dignified in comparison. I don't know. I'm not a progressive. I'm an independent, but if I was, I wouldn't be thrilled with that outcome from this, even if it personally enriches Kyle Kulinski or gives him some sort of psychological
there's integrity within this dude.
He got that he so clearly craves.
There's laudability.
I don't know, man. I just find this kind of thing degrading.
Yes,
to the public
it is
discourse.
detrimental, polluting.
Would be Trump and MAGA.
It is injurious. It is hurtful to the reputation.
It personally enriches Kyle Kulinski or gives him some sort of psychological benefit from all the attention he got that he so clearly craves. But
he got what he was looking for.
Kind of thing degrading
but it is goofy. It is negative. It is negative attention, negative clout. You really want negative attention.
I really think this is juvenile logic.
To him, attention, any form of attention is good. It doesn't matter
you are only taking us further down
if
that
it is
direction.
negative or positive.
Now, his response would be, well,
Goofy.
Trump and MAGA already degraded the public discourse so much that, and I really think this is juvenile logic.
Childish.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Facts.
And by further participating
Stooping down to the level of the radicals of the MAGA side is
we're going to be
really inimical to growth.
So they'll see and then they'll stop and
engaging in the same BS and the low vibrational-ish that certain MAGA people engage in doesn't help anybody.
They're going to think, wow, these unhinged lefties want people are so crazy.
Yep.
We got it. They'll see and then they'll stop and we'll all walk back from the brink. And I really think this is juvenile logic.
Yes.
Two wrongs
Hero.
don't make a right.
Warped.
And by further participating and accelerating a decline, you are only taking us further down that direction. The idea that, we're going to be unhinged and nasty to them, so they'll see and then they'll stop and we'll all
it's delusional to think positive results will happen.
0% chance of happening. All that will happen is people will ratchet up more and more in response because people think, wow, these unhinged lefties.
People will be more angry.
Are so crazy. We got to go even further. And vice versa, they bounce off of each other. So, to me, this clip kind of summed up the perils of this debate.
Kyle's label was true, but his behavior
to just act a fool
was
and get attention or attaboys from their own side,
trash.
Their actual position in a broader political context and take away from what's off of each other. So, to me, this clip kind of summed up the perils of this debate sphere where people, the incentives for them to just act a fool and
to misbehave
get attention or attaboys from their own side, degrade their actual position in a broader political context and take away from what I think are very legitimate critiques of the Trump administration.
Valid.
Whether they're going too far on lots of
things
right now.
Yes.
Immigration enforcement, to their rule abroad. Well, there's a way to point out critiques of all of it effectively. Then there's this. It's not a Venn diagram because there's no overlap. There's just two circles. But other than that, Kyle's doing amazing.
That is a great...
I also don't like this scattergun of now from immigration enforcement to their rule abroad. Well, there's a way to point out critiques of all of it effectively. Then there's this. It's not a Venn diagram because there's no overlap. There's just two circles. But other than that, Kyle's doing amazing here. I don't know. I also don't like this scattergun approach to political debate where he dropped like 15 different things in the span of 60 seconds, different points that he brought up, and therefore he really brought up none. It's like, because if you're not actually taking the time to flesh out
go deeper into those things,
like Trump promising to release the Epstein files, but not doing it.
He isolated,
fully, right? But if you're not actually fleshing them out, you're just going boom, 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 then all somebody has to do is not agree with or pick apart one of those things to kind of feel like,
dismiss. It is easy for the opponent to dismiss.
You're not really advancing the ball on any of them. Or changing anyone's mind on anyone because you're just throwing them out there.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
And
a quick
dismiss you, especially when you combine it with crassness and vulgarity.
In a speedy way,
again,
on some chopper-ish.
Like a clown, but it did in fact succeed at getting him the attention that he desired. So, congrats, I guess. What do you guys think? Let me know.
Crazy, bruh. Yeah. Stay clean in the debates, even if the labels you throw at your opponents are true. Please stay clean because you look better. You look like a reasonable person. You look laudable. You look moral. So you have to stay clean. I get it. Certain people are shameful. Are very shameful, very disgraceful. Yes, but you have to stay clean. You cannot let emotion dictate. You cannot be enslaved by your emotions, because if you let your emotions enslave you, you will lose. Peace.